Hi everyone, welcome to the first Flipped Collaborate session for assignment 1A and 1B of EDU 40011. I hope that you find this flipped session really useful. I'm going to go through the assessment requirements with you and give you a couple of hints and tips, and also to show you our Padlet and the resources that are on there that you'll be able to access to help you with this assignment. Okay, so as you would know, this assignment is in two parts. So I'm going to talk to you first of all about part A. So part A is the team component. So this component is a 2,000 word case study. So this is 2,000 words per team, not per individual for this one. This is weighted at 30% of your final grade. So everybody in the team will get the same grade for this. Your due date is Monday the 7th of December at 5 p.m. This is daylight savings time in some states, so yeah, just keep an eye on that. So the format, it is a case study report, so use headings, short paragraphs, and then also some point form if it's relevant. And also use a third person writing style for this one. So no I or my or you or anything like that in 1A, just using third person, so the teacher, for example. So when you do submit your assignment, we want you to include an assignment cover sheet with all of the names of your team members. That way we know exactly who is in your team. We suggest that you use the team charter template. I'll show you that shortly. I've got a copy of that on the Padlet. So you don't need to submit this one, but what you can do is actually email it through to your ELA, and that way we have a clear idea of each contribution of the different team members and how you've allocated the tasks. We've also come up with a planning template that you can use. So this one will really help you put the case study together. So don't submit the template, but yeah, just something that you can use with your team when you're taking notes. In your case study that you develop, you need to use supporting evidence from the unit readings and also some of your own research as well. You need to have a single reference list presented in the APA format at the end of your assignment. So any of the different readings that people in your team have done for this team component, you'll have all of those. If you've cited it within the report, then they need to go in that one reference list at the end. So it's also important to note that each team member needs to submit 1A as you would, even if it was an individual assignment, it needs to go in the 1A submission box for this component. Okay, so every single team member does this. Okay, so for assignment 1A, I've put together a Padlet with some resources to help you, and I've also included an exemplar as well. So I'll just take you over to the assignment 1 Padlet now, just to show you. Okay, so you should be able to see this now. So the exemplar is here. So I'll just click on that. Okay, now the exemplar we're going to go through in our brainstorm sessions for assignment 1. What I would like to note is that this is not, a perfect example of what we're looking for. It's just a basic example of how you would set out your case study. Okay, so I wouldn't really be relying too much on this as a model in terms of academic writing. You'll see that there's even the way that some of the evidence has been integrated isn't necessarily the best method. There's quite a lot of long quotations, which we normally would recommend that you avoid using. It's best to paraphrase if you can. There's not a huge range of literature either. So if you have a look there at the reference list, there's not a lot. I would say that this would probably be like a pass exemplar. So yeah, if you're aiming higher than that, then you need to do a lot more with it. Okay, but it's a good example in terms of the layout, just so you can see what we're looking for. Okay, so the other things that I've mentioned as well, this is the team charter template. So with this, you can use this as a team, come up with a name, all of the details of the team members, list some goals. And this is just a really great way of working out the direction that you're heading with the assignment. I like this idea here of recording strengths and weaknesses. This can also help with the role allocation. So you can work out who's going to do what part. So it really is up to you how you do that. One way of approaching this assignment would be for each team member to write about one of the, like when you're doing the note taking and listening to the case study recordings that I'll show you in a moment, you might decide that one person reviews one and takes notes on that, and then another does the second, another one does the third, and then you might all get together and then talk about your ideal teacher at the end of that. So I'll explain that a little bit further after, so it makes a bit more sense to you. The other thing that I've mentioned is the planning template as well. So this is great because when I just mentioned there about the taking notes, you could just put a few brief notes here. So if you're going to take the notes for teacher one, you could just fill them out in here. And then part of the case study involves having 4 questions at the end. So maybe each of you in your group could come up with 1 question each, and then maybe even 1 question that you come up with together. So lots of different ways of approaching the assignment, but yeah, this is just one way. And then if you talk about your ideal teacher there, so maybe if you put all of your heads together and come up with what you think is an ideal humanities teacher, this is what you can then use as your case study that you're writing for assignment 1A. So you can base it on an ideal humanities teacher if you wish to. Okay, so I'll just go back. Apologies for that. I think it's just taken me. I'm just going to go back a page there. That's better. Okay, so you'll also see on the Padlet that I've added in the recordings. So these are 3 teachers that have been interviewed. So you need to read listen to each of those, or you can read the transcript if you want to. They're also accessible. And they'll talk to you about what it's like being a humanities teacher, some of the challenges that you encounter, things that they like about teaching the humanities. So those are the recordings that I mentioned before. I will add this flipped video here, and I'll also add the slides from this session here as well. And I'll add our live session slides and also links to those live sessions I'll add here under Collaborate Sessions. And here I've included the assessment briefs for 1A and for 1B, so I strongly encourage you to read those as well and to have a close look at the rubric for those. Okay, so I'll just go back to my other screen. Great. And the other point that I was also going to mention is that the headings from the planning template that I just showed you before can also be used in your report when you're writing your hypothetical case study. So you can directly take those headings you'll see on the left-hand side of that planning template, you'll be able to use those headings to form the basis of your case study response. So it just makes everything really easy for you, keeping it simple. Okay. All right. So for assignment 1B, this one is an individual task. So everybody needs to do this on their own. It's got nothing to do with the team. You do this after your team has completed 1A, but you will need to submit it at the same time. So it is due on Monday, the 7th of December at 5 o'clock as well. So just make sure that your team is working ahead of time so that everybody has time to also write their reflection as well, because you are reflecting on the team task. Okay, so this one is worth 15%. It's only 500 words. Just use some short paragraphs for this one. You can write in first person because you're reflecting on your own experience and your understanding. Use supporting evidence though from the unit readings and from your own research. So this will be a different reference list to the one that you used for 1A, because this will be any citations that you have included in this personal reflection. They will be included in the reference list at the end of your personal reflection that you submit. Okay, so hopefully that all makes sense. And you need to submit the 1B personal reflection in the assignment 1B submission box. Okay, so for assignment 1, you will be submitting 2 submissions. So a 1A submission and a 1B submission. So everybody needs to submit 2. So for 1B, you will be reflecting on the 3 teacher interviews. So the ones that I showed you before on the Padlet. You'll be reflecting on what you've learned from these cases about teaching in the humanities. And you will also be reflecting on the overall experience of working in a team, and also discussing how this team experience has then contributed to your ability to work with others in your future practice as a teacher. Because a really big part of teaching is working in collaboration with other colleagues. So this is definitely a really valuable experience for you to have. So hopefully you really enjoy it. Okay, so I mentioned before about the submission. So just to clarify again, you'll be making 2 submissions, one for assignment 1A and one for assignment 1B. Submit in the appropriate box. You can submit as a Word document or as a PDF. It's up to you. Okay. As far as extensions go, if you do need an extension, you just need to apply for this. So through the assessment brief page, you'll have the option there of request for an extension. You'll just click on whether you want a short or a long extension. So your ELA can approve up to 48 hours, but you will need to fill out the long extension request form if you need any longer than that, so that I can approve that for you. Okay, so in terms of support and tips, it's definitely very important to read through the assignment 1A and 1B assessment briefs, and I showed you that I have included copies of those on the Padlet. So you definitely access the Padlet. You can access the Student Hub for support if you need to. So you'll need to just log into this and then you'll be able to, so if I click on that, I won't click on that right now, but it'll just take you to the Student Hub, and then you just select if you need referencing support, for example, you can select referencing and you'll get that. Or if you need help with academic writing, there's help for that as well. So also to prepare for this assignment, you need to read the unit materials, so all of those recommended readings for weeks 1 to 4. Definitely use the assignment 1 Q&A thread. Even if you're not asking questions, keep an eye on that, monitor that just to see what is happening there, just so you don't miss out on anything. Attend the live Collaborate sessions if you can. I've included a list of those times on our Padlet, and also if you can't make it, that's okay, but try to catch up by watching the recording, and also participate in the weekly activities, because these activities are directly related to the assignment and they will help support you. Okay, so remember that your ELA is here to help you. So no question is too silly to ask on the Q&A thread. A lot of the time, lots of people will have the same question as you and will be very relieved when you've asked that question, and then they will benefit from the answer as well. So it's always important to use the Q&A thread. Only email your ELA if it's something, of a personal nature that you need to discuss in relation to perhaps you needing an extension, something like that. If it's just a general question regarding the assignment, then please do just put it on the A1 Q&A thread. So good luck, everybody. I hope that this flipped session has been useful for you. This is just a quick session. We'll go into the assignment in a lot more depth, and also analysing the exemplar in the brainstorm sessions that we'll be running in week 2. So good luck, everyone, and I'll see you on the discussion boards. Thank you. Bye.